Hi there, I'm agoraphobic convicted saleswoman Melissa Kelly, and today we're going to be delving into the world of Jeepers Creepers, a film all about why road rage is a gateway violent act to bigger things, and why you should always mind your own business. Hi there my dudes, I hope you're shiny. Remember, you can watch me reacting to this film over on my Patreon. Jeepers Creepers is actually based on a true story. No, really. It was based on a string of murders, and whilst the OG killer wasn't in fact a demon, I have it on good authority he also had a skullet. But I digress. Let's go back to the beginning. That's too far. The film opens on a highway somewhere in northern Florida with our two main protagonists, Daddy and Trish, played by Gina Phillips and horror favourite Justin Long, on their way to see their parents. I love Justin Long. And the thing is, I always associate him with horror films, but he's actually only been in 4 really good ones. Jeepers Creepers, Barbarian, Drag Me to Hell, and Tusk. Some of them can be really tacky, and his characters can probably be wrapped up in one sentence. Let's investigate this frightening hole. I'm a bad person and I'm not going to change. My girlfriend's really scared all the time. I fucking hate that film, okay? I fucking hate it. Not even Johnny Depp could save it. It's just Justin Long in a repurposed sumo suit and Johnny Depp running around giving huge monologues that are equal parts comedy and devastating reality. It's like, you're not in a defamation case now, Johnny. Wrap it up.
Quite the cheery thinker today, aren't we, sis?
Sorry, where were we? Oh yeah! See, the thing about JC, that's Jeepers Creepers, not Jesus Christ, is the pacing is really, really good. The film's only been going for 6 minutes before the really terrifying truck turns up, and that 6 minutes was spent getting to know Trish and Daddy as siblings and them being super cute.
It's not.
Also, when I watched this film for the first time and I watched Daddy's driving, I was like, he deserved this. This interaction was entirely his fault. Get out of the fucking way. But then I remember myself driving. So after the interaction with the scariest truck on earth, there's a little bit of a back and forth, where the siblings discuss a couple of teenagers that died on the same strip of road. And Gina Phillips delivers easily the worst line in the film. Now I know it's the script's fault and the director's fault, but Jesus Christ.
I used to think this was the highway I would die on.
I always knew I would strangle the family dog. I always knew this would be the hat I would kill a man in. I always knew I'd asphyxiate in marshland. What? What? We aren't left hanging on that absolute curry fart of a line for too long, because Trish and Daddy actually drive past an abandoned church where they see dead bodies being thrown down a chute by a guy. And normally in horror films they do it in like shadow, or they try and make it like maybe the viewer and the character just maybe saw it wrong. Not here. Oh no.
What's he doing?
Which of course adds to the panic-inducing sweaty palms of the chase that then ensues. After being run off the road, Daddy and Trish have a conversation about whether or not to go back to the church and see the dead bodies. Daddy convinces Trish to go back, and then JC does one of my favourite things. It gets real meta. I loved Scream, and I love horror films that know what they're about. And nowadays meta horror films are pretty tacky, but this was 20 years ago and it's done so well. And it's probably the smartest thing that Trish gets to say in the entire film.
Okay, you know the part in scary movies where somebody does something really stupid and everybody hates them for it? This is it.
Then we get this amazing shot of Daddy falling. Oh, c'est magnifique! He explores the creature's lair, who apparently has a penchant for interior design. Some of these shots are absolutely fantastic, like film perfection. And then, well, then there's this. What in the Halloween Poundland section is going on? I know what some of you are going to say, but Melissa, he embalmed the bodies. What did he embalm them with? 80s shopping mall mannequins? Listen, this film had a $10 million budget, I get it, okay? All I'm saying is, if one of your props looks like this, maybe don't light it so brightly. That's all I'm saying. If you had a show home, would you have a spotlight on a shit in the kitchen? No, you wouldn't. After leaving the creature's lair, they head out to a diner so they can call the law. Honestly, some of the dialogue they give Trish is so stupid.
Excuse me. Excuse me, we need help. We need help now.
How many women do you know that are not super specific in a crisis? When was the last time you met a woman who was in a panic and you had to say to her, please, more detail? Is that sexism? I don't know. Go and make me a sandwich. What follows is the most hilarious phone call from a stranger to Daddy and Trish at the diner.
Yeah, huh?
Have you seen the cats yet? Derry?
Huh?
You know the cats I'm talking about?
Who's this?
You found its house of pain. I don't know if it's a demon or a devil.
Oh, hold on. I need you to listen to this.
Hello? Have you seen the dogs yet? What? The dogs that I sent you. No, I haven't seen them. I sent them ages ago. Oh, I saw a ghost outside the shop. A ghost, aye? Well, it was either a ghost or a traffic cone. Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Shh. Listen.
Just a small town girl.
Did you hear that? Uh-huh. That song is all about me. I hate you. Despite the hilarity of this call, it actually does do two very helpful things, which is to show that Daddy and Trish are really hysterical and frightened, but also begin a supernatural undercurrent to the film, because up until this point, the guy in the truck could just be, well, a guy in a truck. He's not a guy in a truck, though. He's something altogether more lumpy. So they call the cops and they explain the happenings, and the creeper is seen sniffing Daddy's washing. The cops decide to escort the siblings to a local office, and whilst driving there, they get this message.
Go ahead.
This old church is on fire. I'm talking burning out of control.
Okay, I've done some Googling and I've done some research, and the thing is, this entire highway that exists in the film actually exists as it is in the film in real life. The diner, the church, everything. And actually the church, which is called St. James's Church, which was abandoned and was the scene in the film and in real life, was burned down mysteriously 3 weeks after filming that on Jeepers Creepers.
We're through the looking glass here, people.
But let's not worry about that now, shall we? Let's worry about it later, when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, in the dark, when my dressing gown hung up looks like a person. It's time to talk about music licensing. I know, but the thing is, the people who made this film obviously wanted to license several versions of Jeepers Creepers to run throughout the film, and this is the one they went for.
That's the song. That's the song. That's the song. It's the same song that she was playing that lady on the phone.
It's terrible. I love it. Okay, this next scene makes no fucking sense. The creeper takes the parts of humans that he both needs and wants to assimilate into his own body so he may have their attributes, right? And he finds the things he likes by smelling the particular parts while the person's frightened, right? Also, the creature never talks in the film, right? So I have some questions. Number one, when did he smell this cut-price George Clooney's tongue? And why does he not talk for the rest of the film? Riddle me that, viewer. The creeper pursues the pair across the county, and honestly, I have no notes or quips. This scene where they play chicken until they mow him down and reveal his demon wings is honestly film perfection. The monster movie makeup and the special effects, in my opinion, stand up today. This is a 20-year-old film, and I think it still looks fantastic. When the pair reach the cop headquarters, we get one of my favourite horror movie tropes. That's right, the helpful psychic. The OG one being, of course, Tangina from Poltergeist.
This house is clean.
Oh, no, sorry, there seems to be an error in the script. That should say unhelpful psychic. She literally admits that she doesn't know if telling them details of their future will do anything.
Truth be, I'd be lying if I said I knew that telling you this would do any good. Every 23rd spring, for 23 days, It gets to eat.
Wait a fucking minute. He's supposed to come out every 23 years. What's the date? This whole section at the police station is ridiculous. These policemen are completely underprepared for any kind of crisis. They're just all running around like panicked chickens, like whoopsie doodle. Okay, now we have to deal with the most traumatic scene in this whole film. I don't know if it's the vision of the full monster, or the rattling of the corpse banging against the bars of the jail, or the sound of him gulping down a piece of... No, it's the gulping sound. It is the gulping sound. But hey, don't worry. The psychic's back and she's got some helpful tips and tricks.
Do that! He finds you in here! He finds you hiding in a room.
You too.
Jeepers, creepers. Where'd you get those peepers?
For fuck's sake. I don't know how, but there's a murderer in the house. We have to get out of here. We are in danger. Sweet Caroline, the big fat swine. Then she goes on to make things much worse.
I hear it playing while one of you is screaming down in the dark somewhere.
Honestly, fuck this woman. The following scenes of the police trying to deal with the creeper are so unnerving, from the cop saying over the walkie-talkie that something tried to bite him, through to the creeper tearing a man's heart out. Again, 20-year-old movie special effects. 20-year-old. Also, Justin Long's increasing hysteria and fear is so believable. I genuinely believe if any other actor had played his part, it wouldn't have been as scary. This next scene I had to describe to my therapist. Am I the only one that would be offended if the creeper didn't want to eat me? Like, if the creeper were just like, nah, I'm good. Oh, okay. What about now? Still no. Okay, that's fine. Good, you know, I guess. I'd end up just turning up at his abandoned church with a swimsuit and heels on, just being like, oh, my spleen is so juicy today. I stand corrected. The creeper actually does use his tongue in this film. I can't express enough how this monster movie makeup stands up in this film. Gina Phillips gives an 11th hour great performance trying to convince the creeper to take her instead, and it is a great moment, and for a split second you think you might agree, but the lady's not for turning. Unfortunately, the final scene with the creeper doesn't really hold up. I don't know if it's just a mix of the movement, the fake moon, the fake flying. It's all just a bit Jason and the Argonauts. And sadly, I don't believe they should have wrapped up Trish's story like they did. She just looks out and watches a crow fly away. If it were up to me, and it is. A scared mother runs into the hospital looking for the doctor. The doctor stops her and says, don't worry, she just has minor injuries, but she hasn't spoken yet. The camera pans round and zooms in on Trish lying in a hospital bed staring out the window. And then Jeepers Creepers starts to play in the background. And then we see what happened to Daddy. I'm not saying that I know better than the people that made this film. All I'm saying is, I have a lot of DVDs. Jeepers Creepers has it all. It's a modern classic. Monster movie makeup, authentic scenes, a man that looks exactly like if you paid 50 pence for George Clooney, which is why I give this 8 hysterical Justin Longs out of 10. Don't forget you can watch my reaction over on Patreon. Go forth, like, subscribe and do all that good stuff. And until next time, Google is not for people with anxiety.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those?